when they did take a chance and want to cast a black actor or something, they wanted to be able to look at you and everybody to look and say, okay, that's a black actor.
Ooh, he's meeting me at Char Bar. From KC to Chi-Town, from Louisville straight to that Big Apple, Roi Hawkins has lit up every kind of stage in classics and wildcards. Now he's flexing in Fat Ham at Kansas City's Unicorn Theater. I'm Lonita Cook, and this is Tip of the Tongue, where we chop it up with your favorite theater stars about craft, career, and the sweat behind the spotlight. This is a treat. I've seen you on stage a few times.
Really?
Oh yeah. Of Mice and Men, I think was the first time.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw you. Yeah, you're a wonderful actor.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing it?
Wow.
Doing your thing.
Doing the thing, following the passion.
Yeah.
Off and on for about 30 years.
So all the stripes you have earned them.
Work for them.
That's right.
Stripes. Burn marks, man.
Who you telling? I know you and I grew up near the same neighborhood.
Right,
we
right.
and in KCK, and when you were coming up, and also when I was coming up, there's always a conversation about what opportunities exist here. Mm-hmm. I think all over this nation, small town folks uproot and move to big cities for that big word, opportunity. You had to do that. I want to ask you to get on the same page with me. Define opportunity.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
It is an advantage that has presented itself, whether it is earned, worked for, or just a coincidence or luck. It is an advantage or a chance to advance or improve.
Yes. Yeah. So let me ask you, how does coming from, I would say KCK, Wyandotte County is a small town.
Right.
Yeah.
Compared to where I went. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me tell you, the elementary school I went to, we had cows on our playground.
Uh-oh. No, I'm not that far back. Yeah, okay. I hear you. I know where they had them though.
Yeah. And I also did the same thing. I went to New York for school. I grew up watching all the movies, Fame and all that jazz and Fast Forward. And so I wanted to do that, get on a Greyhound bus and get off the bus with the big city lights.
Big city lights.
How does that change the experience for you when you are from that small town, when you have that passion and that fantasy of what your career could be when you get to that big city?
Reality sets in. The excitement and the fantasy and all of that is still there, but the reality sets in when you realize that there are so many people there that are doing the exact same thing that you're doing, and everybody is coming from a different position of advantage and a different place on their journey. So it was hard. I mean, it was cold water in the face because, I'm coming up there thinking I'm going to be the next soap opera star.
Yeah. And you went to Chicago, right?
I went to Chicago first.
Yes, yeah.
And
which is still the heartland.
Right. Because it was familiar enough, and I had family in Chicago, so I still had a little safety net. And I just went in for an audition for a children's theater company that was looking for people in Chicago, looking for actors in Chicago. It just so happens that it was in Louisville, Kentucky. And by the time I got home from the audition, he was calling and offering me the part.
Yes.
Which made me feel, okay, I can do this. All right, maybe I do know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That ended up being 3 seasons. So for the 3.5 years that I lived in Chicago, 3 9-month school year seasons were spent in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
So I kind of lived in Chicago, I kind of didn't. And from there, I ended up going to New York because because a lot of the people that I was working with lived in New York. And they were like, you know what, you're going to come. Oh,
That was
sorry.
fast.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's a
Thank
great
you.
look.
This
The
is a
colors in
beautiful salad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. This
Okay.
looks amazing.
Oh, this is great.
Oh, boy, oh boy.
So I ended up finally getting into being a day player on the Guiding Light.
What?
And I was a bartender on the Guiding Light. I got to do 3 episodes. And then the soap operas in New York started closing.
Yeah.
And then before you knew it, they were all gone. And the only ones are in LA now. So I was like, I'm in the wrong city for this. So but I love New York now, so I'm gonna stay.
Yeah. How long did you live in New York?
I moved there in '97. That's how I remember it because.
I was there in 97.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Living there?
I went to school there.
Went to school.
Yeah, so I don't know if you would call it living there. I mean, yes, I was on the subway.
Yeah, if you can ride the subway by yourself, you're living there.
And I had my fair share of Gray's papaya.
Mm-hmm. They closed a lot of those.
Yeah, they did.
You used to go into every neighborhood and be able to find one at 3 o'clock in the morning.
At 3 a.m. Busy,
packed.
everybody on the hot dogs. Leaving KCK, you didn't go empty-handed. When you left, you already had a degree in business. Yeah. Do you think that helped? Did that help you in theater to have that business degree?
Yes and no. No, because it wasn't really related to what I do in theater. But yes, I can look at a lot of the jobs and work that I do from a business aspect. And I am my own business, and so that's how I handle it. Where there's contracts and negotiating and all of that type of thing, and budgeting and all of that becomes a business, just like something that's incorporated. And while I was studying business at KU, every elective and secondary class or minor class that I could take was in performance.
Sure.
So I didn't have enough for my minor to be in performance, but I took enough to say that I actually studied acting.
Yes. So on that, back then, because it's different now, everybody is an entrepreneur, all the gurus got us, I'm building my company, I got my side hustle, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But back then, as artists, there was this sentiment or attitude that if you did run yourself like a business and pursue commerce with your art or through your art, you were selling out. Was that something that you ran into or something that you had to negotiate for yourself?
I did not. Because a long time I convinced myself that was the language of people who either were failing themselves and bitter, or wanted you to fail.
Yes.
Out of jealousy. So I didn't allow myself to fall into that trap.
Yes.
Because that's a failure mentality. And that's what I told myself.
Yes. It took me a while also to shift into that mindset, because I did for a while subscribe to this idea that I don't want to sell out. I'm here purely for the arts, for the craft. And then at one point I was like, I'm hungry. Can somebody feed me, please? Yeah, it was a culture shock for me, because I came straight from Kansas City, Kansas.
I can't imagine doing that.
Yeah.
I probably could have, but I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much. I think I would have been so intimidated by everything.
Yes.
And scared of it.
Yes.
Whereas in Chicago, I got to see a bigger city and public transportation. L train
Yeah.
and cultural diversity. We got that here now, but back then we didn't.
Yeah. Especially in theater.
And that was part of the reason I left.
Sure.
Because they really, I can talk about them now, but they didn't know what to do with me then.
Sure.
They didn't know where to put me. When they did take a chance and want to cast a black actor in something, they wanted to be able to look at you and everybody to look and say, okay, that's a black actor. And they're casting a black actor. That's fair. They looked at me and they couldn't really tell. He's not white, but what exactly is he? So we didn't know. We don't know what category to put him in.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always considered myself a character actor. Where I'd like to do all the crazy, creating all the weird, unusual things. But they look at me and think that I'm supposed to be the leading man kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I want to do that. I mean, I do want to do it, but I want to do other
Yeah.
stuff too.
I mean, there's something to be said about, because the way actors talk about the types of characters can be, there is something to be said about, who would we consider a character actor and a leading man? Somebody like Johnny Depp, who we consider both, but a lot of times you have to pick. It's either or.
Mm-hmm. And he got big enough where he could make them do it.
Yeah.
Other people, it's, you're either this or you're this, and we don't see you as both.
Yeah. And so
here it was even worse here because they weren't doing any black plays and everything that they were doing where people were related to each other and they were families and husbands and wives and all of that. So I couldn't be in any of that either.
Mm.
So it was the best friend or the neighbor or whatever the
and this
criminal
is all because whoever the criminal is.
Whatever the criminal is in that particular story.
Yeah.
Then they would call us all in.
Yeah.
No matter what we looked like, they would all.
That was
every black actor in town
epidemic in the 90s.
Every black actor in town would show up at those auditions.
I think actors in our generation, we still talk about those days where, everybody was a gangster, everybody was a pimp, a whore, type thing. You know what I mean?
And there was always some type of drug situation going on.
Yeah.
Whether you dealing or you strung out.
Yeah. A lot of crime, and so there were a lot of conversations about we're more than this, and so there was a pendulum swing where all of a sudden we're the judge, we're the
Fantastic.
Amazing,
Good?
Incredible.
Good.
A perfect role for you would be to play a biracial man, even though you yourself are not biracial, but you appear to be.
That's been my thing. And when I was saying that, there was a play that was on Broadway. It was on Broadway twice, and I saw it. And it's called "Take Me Out."
Mm-hmm.
It was about a baseball player, biracial baseball player, baseball star. He was at the top of his career, and then he decides to come out as gay. And professional athletes that was not
even
done
today.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was this huge thing, and it wasn't like he was, dressing up in drag or running around doing gay stuff.
Doing gay stuff.
He was living in his own truth, and he was big, athletic, and man's man, and it wasn't femininity and all of that stuff. And I thought, there was some monologues in there, and there was a character arc for him. Mm-hmm. And I saw that, I was like, that's the role. I want that role. Had nothing to do with the gay part. It was just the idea of this supposedly biracial character has this incredible arc. Now you've got to get naked on stage too.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Full on nudity.
Full on, right there. No hide behind nothing because you're taking a shower. But he's never alone. I mean, it was a locker room, so they were all taking a shower together. So,
which would be an important scene in a story like that. But you've gotten a play to portray August Wilson, who was biracial. God rest his soul, right? How was that experience? Did it satiate
incredible. I wish more people had seen it because it was also a one-man show. So it's 90 minutes of just me. And maybe that's why more people didn't see it. I don't know.
Oh, stop.
No.
Oh, stop.
But that was the first, there was a lot of firsts. That was the first time I'd ever done a one-man show where it's just me. Can't rely on anybody else to get me out of it, you know, whatever. If something goes wrong, I got to get myself out of it. It's just me.
Yeah.
And 90 minutes. And playing August Wilson, who is like a theatrical hero.
Of course. 2 Pulitzer Prizes.
Yeah. Great. That was an incredible experience. I would love to do it again sometime. And to prove to myself that I could do it.
But speaking of Pulitzer Prize, you're currently in a production here in Kansas City of Fat Ham. Yes. I got to ask you, what did you think when you first read the script or received the script? Had you heard of the show before?
I had. It was on Broadway. And I didn't get a chance to see it on Broadway, but I got to see excerpts of it and was fascinated by it. I love the concept. I love the idea, the craziness of it, the seriousness of it, all of it. The in and out of Shakespeare and talking to the audience and not talking to the audience, all of it. And it's very rarely that I've seen a play that has all these different levels and layers to peel off.
And you play the 2 roles.
I play 2 roles. It's even crazier. I play 2 brothers. One of them is a ghost, and I play the brother who had his brother killed.
Yeah. This is a kind of a translation, if you will, of Hamlet, classic Shakespeare Hamlet.
Yes.
But it's set in a backyard barbecue. And a black family.
Right.
And the Hamlet figure is a gay black man.
Struggling with that, who hasn't even really admitted it to himself so much yet. Everybody in the play is going through something.
I thought that the themes that it explores are, very important themes. This idea of softness and the duality of softness, the way that we use softness. We use softness in a way where we're talking about weakness, and we're talking about softness in a way where we're talking about vulnerability, and your accessibility, especially to your heart.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And he's the playwright is very careful about what words he uses for different things. Like the word soft is used pretty much throughout the play, referring to him. We never call him gay. It's never really queer. It's always soft.
Yeah.
And then one time, someone calls him sissy.
Yeah.
And he loses it, and that's when it goes crazy.
Getting into your technique, if you will. You play in 2 characters. Like you said, one of them is a ghost. And then one of them is the ghost murderer.
And murderer, right.
And brother. But he's also just like the ghost. And so
they grew up in the same house.
Yeah. And they share not just some of the same philosophies, but some of the same behaviors. They're not dissimilar. And so I thought it was more difficult. I thought, playing 2 characters is hard. And if they're different, you can separate them.
Completely.
But when they are so similar, I feel like you have to really lean into the nuances. So what was your approach to that?
First thing I had to do, both characters basically assholes.
Yeah. I will say in this show, I was like, none of these people are good.
No.
Not even the soft boy.
Right,
I was like, he's the worst.
So for me, when I take on any type of role, I try and I think about what the background is, where that person is now, and what that person wants throughout the course of the play. And I have to find as many things about that person that's similar to me personally, and that way I can latch onto that and play it up and make it believable. So I had to find humanity in both of them, even the ghosts, and why they are the way that they are, which is really hard because there's not really a whole lot of background story given for either one of them. So I had to kind of create some of the background. Like the ghost is the older brother, the guy who is alive, Rev, is the younger brother. So it's a very, like the royal family, the heir and a spare situation, where everything is given to the oldest one, but the youngest one is in his shadow.
Wow.
Just trying to get, to get recognized and be seen as his own person or his own man. And because of that, he tends to resent the older brother and want everything that the older brother had. That includes his house, his wife, his son, his job, his restaurant, all of that.
Yeah.
So, not that that's a good thing, but it's an honest human thing.
Yes.
Because that's what I had to find. I had to find the humanity in both of them first. And then from there, I started deciding what was different about them after that. But I had to find out what was most like me, what I could relate to in both of them.
Yeah, that's strong. And the parts of the show that are, what word do I want to use here? Boisterous, maybe even flamboyant, if you will, that are a big party. Okay. Yes, these parts of the show. Are these the parts of the show that you like the most, that you can lean into the most, or is it the more quiet moments? Is it the moments that are intimate and focused in?
I think it's pretty even keel for both of them, because as an actor, you love the intimate focus, where you're pulling everybody in and bringing everybody's attention into you.
Yeah.
But you, as a person, you also love a party. love a big explosion where everybody's having a crazy time.
Yeah.
So from a creative viewpoint, I guess the intimate focus is more rewarding.
Yes.
Because it's almost like the quieter you get, the more people lean in because they want to hear, and you pull them into the story.
No, I really enjoyed the show. It was up and down. It took me through the emotional cycle where I was able to laugh and cry and be elated and angry and all these things. But when I left, I wondered about the cookout. Because in essence, that's what this show is.
Right.
It's a cookout, and each production, I think, is a blanket invitation to the cookout. And the cookout, in recent social media days, has become this nomer, if that's a word. Maybe it's not a misnomer, so let's call it a nomer.
A nomer. All right. I can go with that.
For the Black interior, and not just the interior of the Black home, but as we gather and as we are communal over food, and it is seen as sacred. And when you're on social media, you see somebody dancing, and then in the comments they'll say, "Ooh, you definitely invited to the cookout." And so it's also become a way to extend, offer friendship, offer welcome, but it's still a sacred interior place. And so I wonder about the broad invitation to the cookout. Is it beneficial? Do you see it as beneficial? This broad invitation for any and all people to join us at the cookout. Do you see it, the cookout, as a place that should be protected? Should it stay sacred and interior, or is it something that we should make more public and more communal?
I recognize the sacredness of it and the importance of it, but I also think the openness and the invitation is important as well. Because if everybody's invited and it becomes a safe space, the people who don't belong there will weed themselves out. But it should, I think it should be a safe space for, and open to a sanctuary for people who need it. And the danger of the wrong people being there is valid.
Yes.
But it also gives everyone who's supposed to be there a way to come together and close ranks. Because when you get a bad element in there, everybody that's supposed to be there can get rid of that. Will come together and get rid of that bad element and be stronger for it. And you're introducing new elements, so that gives everybody an opportunity to learn something and to grow. Because if you close yourself off completely, then you're not going to grow.
Oh, that's an interesting take on it. Kind of ecosystem, and
because you have your family reunion picnic, and you're starting to find a lot of other races and other people being invited, but and they're welcome, but don't bring no potato salad, don't bring no mac and cheese. You just come and you enjoy the fellowship, but you have to work your way up to being able to prepare these certain dishes.
Yes.
These certain dishes are for a level that you're not at yet.
Well, I thank you so much. I thank you so much. I've had a wonderful time. This has been a great conversation. You are fantastic in fat ham.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of that. I keep hitting that. I got something.
Same.
Thank you.
No, thank you. All right. Well, thank you so much, and we will see you next time.